Hey everybody, it's Beth. Welcome to Infinite Garden. Today we have a get ready with me. I'm about to go to a friend of a friend's house who is a bridge expert. I have a good friend who we decided together that we wanted to enter into our, social card playing era. And he knows a woman who lives nearby who's an excellent bridge player. She's gonna show us how to play bridge, and I'm gonna go over there in about an hour and a half. So I'm just gonna get ready. I'm gonna start with the new Merit Priming Moisturizer. It's called Merit Great Skin Priming Moisturizer. They sent this to me and I really like it. So it comes in a beautiful bottle with a little pump like this, and this is sort of the consistency of it. You know, I'm a really big fan of Glossier's Priming Moisturizer, so I was really curious about this one. It's lovely. I did 2 pumps just because my skin is extra dry right now. I like it. I think it soaks in really fast, feels good. It doesn't irritate my skin. If you watch my channel regularly, you know in August I was in the Southwest helping my mom recover from a surgery, and it was so dry. It was like August in the American Southwest is very, very intense, and my skin wasn't ready for it. I didn't bring any special moisturizers, and so my skin just dried out completely, and it's still healing a little bit from that. This is how the moisturizer looks, the kind of finish it gives, but it does have a little bit of luminosity. So last week on my channel, I'm gonna use Glossier's Skin Perfecting Tint in 11. Last week, I posted a video on my channel about invisibility and asked folks to join in the conversation. And I got so many interesting comments about the concept of visibility. It's been something that I've been noodling on for a while in my own way. Part of it had to do with my mom's surgery experience, which I talked about in a video a couple weeks ago about the US healthcare system. I noticed that I just didn't love the way that she was treated in that, in that experience. I felt like she was infantilized and sort of coddled in a way that didn't go along with producing better care outcomes for her. It was more like, don't worry about it, we know best. We've got it handled, but they didn't in some cases. Her surgeon was amazing, and a lot of her other care providers were also very good, but I did notice it as a trend. If this is a topic that's interesting to you, I'll put a card up or something to direct you to it. I especially would direct you to the comments section. Got so many amazing comments. I'm still replying to everybody, but I got so many super generous, substantive comments about the topic from people from all walks of life, all ages and backgrounds, and I think the conversation that's going on in the comments is really valuable. So anyway, just wanted to point you to that. I've continued to think about it, especially because I've been answering those comments, and I've been thinking about what people are saying. I'm gonna start with brow gel. I was just at Target and I picked up 2 drugstore brow gels based on recommendations that I've gotten from you. I have the e.l.f. Laminating Brow Gel, and I have the Wet n Wild Mega Clear Brow and Lash Mascara. So I've got both of these. I was gonna say I can only use one, but I guess I could use one on each eyebrow and give it a try. What do you think about that? Let's do that. Okay, this is the e.l.f. product. I like this. It has a comb and a brush on one end. I like that. My brows are pretty thin. I like having multiple options here. Now, how does this actually work? What do you do here? Where does it come out? That's weird. Do you click it? Oh my gosh. Okay, so you twist. Ah, interesting. Okay, so this is kind of like a putty style. It's clear, but it's opaque. I'm gonna try this on my right eyebrow. See how that goes. It says it laminates, which I like because I need to kind of comb my sparse but wiry brow hairs in place. Okay, I'm gonna try this little comb. Let me see here. I think that's enough for one eyebrow, but I'm gonna play with these combs a little bit. Interesting. Okay. I don't mind it. I don't mind that. Okay, we're gonna let that sit. I'll be reporting back over time about these products. It takes me a while to really formulate my opinion. We'll try the Wet n Wild one next. So Wet n Wild, we're going in. Mega Clear. Whew, it was a lot of work. If you see my light changing, I buy got one of these simple human things, you know, it's like a smart mirror and you can kind of change the lighting level on it. Anyway, it has a learning curve. I'm somewhere on it. When you approach it, it like illuminates automatically, which is pretty cool. But as I'm doing this, I'm moving away. It kind of shuts down and then comes back on. It might be smarter than I am. Okay. Oops, I didn't show you. So this is what the Wet n Wild Mega Clear looks like. I know in the past when I've had clear products like this, and I mean clear like clear in the tube, if I put them on after the brow pencil, it ends up getting all of the inside of the tube really cloudy with product, and I hate that because it looks kind of gross. I'm sure it's happening if I can't see it, but if I can see it, it's a little like it puts me off. But anyway, so that's on this side. On first glance, they look identical. The thing with this mirror that I have is that it's so powerful that I'm seeing stuff up close that I didn't maybe want to see, didn't know was there. I can see more of the crepiness in my upper eyelids, and I can see more like of my pores around my face. It helped me understand that I really needed to work on getting, you know, some exfoliation going again. When my skin got so dry from being out west, I stopped exfoliating because I was just trying to get my skin moisturized again. And I think I finally got there, but now I need to exfoliate. My skin is so sensitive and reactive. I find that whenever I change even the smallest thing, it takes me a while to get back on the horse. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of a heavier coverage from Merit's, what is this one called again? The Glossier Perfecting Skin Tint is a little light coverage. It's very light coverage, which I really like, but I'm going to use a little bit of Merit's the Minimalist Perfecting Skin Stick in the color Linen, which is good for me. And I'm just gonna do a little bit just to cover up some areas that I can see in this mirror that are now a little bit in need of some perfecting. So, okay, one of the things that came up about invisibility or visibility in the comments from the previous video were a lot of people talking about how they felt better and safer when they grew a little bit more mature and were getting fewer kind of catcalls and that sort of thing out in public, which I can really relate to. And I was thinking about that a little bit this week. And then yesterday, this is a little bit of story time. Yesterday, I had an experience that reminded me of what that really does feel like. For the most part, I kind of moved between my house and my workplace, which is a very professional workplace. And then, you know, a little bit of socializing, but when I'm socializing, I'm often, you know, with my husband or with other people. It's been a while since somebody really kind of got in my face in that way. And then yesterday, you guys, yesterday, I was walking my dog at 8 a.m. Saturday morning, which I think is actually part of the reason why I don't think this would have happened on a Tuesday morning. So I was walking in my neighborhood, and I live in a city. I live in Detroit and I live in the city, which means that, you know, anything can happen. Really, like anything can happen. So I was walking my dog, and I was walking in an area where I'm very familiar. There's lots of people who live in the area, and there were two young men who were up and at it at about 8 a.m. I don't know what they were doing, but they appeared to be still kind of in party mode, if you know what I mean. One guy in particular seemed worse off than the other. I was crossing the street toward them. I'm gonna use Tom Ford's Brow Sculptor in the color Granite. Anyway, I was trying to keep my distance, but the other guy, there was one guy who was bad off and the other guy was a little more alert. He called out to me and he was trying to pick me up. He said I was like wearing a sweatshirt and sweatpants. It was a Saturday morning, 8 a.m. dog walk, you know, hair up, a mess, all of it a mess. And he said something like, "Oh man, she's gorgeous." And then he started talking about my body, which, you know, don't love it. And he called out to me and he said, "Hey, you know, you're gorgeous. Are you single?" And maybe the best thing to do is to ignore people that are doing that, but I don't tend to. I want to acknowledge it because I find sometimes if I just ignore it altogether and I'm alone, if like we're alone, it feels worse to ignore it. if I'm in an urban environment and they're just like one of many and I'm moving on, like in a busy environment, I'll ignore it. Straight up ignore it. I'll just melt into the crowd. But when there's nowhere to hide, I will sometimes just try to keep it moving. So I just said, thank you. And when he asked me if I was single, I said, I am not single. And then he kept talking about me to his friend and I could hear it. And it wasn't like wildly disrespectful. I know what that can be like too. It was sort of appreciative and complimentary, which I don't want any of it. But I had that moment where I was like, gosh, I hope I'm safe. These guys, I don't know if they're sober. I don't know if they're good guys. I mean, you know, whatever that means. And I didn't feel great about the interaction. I wished it hadn't happened at all. I wish they hadn't seen me. I wish they had, or if they'd seen me, just sort of registered me as a non-entity to interact with. And it was kind of weird. And I thought about it. I thought about that. I thought about all of your comments about how that can occur in a lot of different ways. You know, there's like, some people are sad when they're no longer noticed and some people feel safer and more free. And I suppose it all has to do with, guess, where you are and how it is. I'm gonna fill in a little bit with this Benefit Precisely My Brow in Cool Gray. Just need a little bit of precision in here. I think the biggest issue is that, you know, I was out on the street alone with just these two guys. It was just kind of scary. They behaved ultimately just fine for a couple of hungover dudes, but I didn't know that they were going to behave just fine. You know what I mean? I wasn't sure. Merit's Flush Balm in Beverly Hills. Can I show you guys this? All of the Merit products that you're seeing me use, I received from them in PR. And one of the first products they sent me was this Merit Flush Balm. And I just want to show you, if you guys are familiar with this product, look how flat it is. Look how much I've used. This is the Flush Balm in Beverly Hills. It's almost done. And I said in another video where I was doing a declutter, I said that I was going to use it in the month of July and just finish it. And here we are. It's the end of September and I'm still using it. I do really love this product and it's been one that I think I'll repurchase with my own money when I finally pan this thing. I can't remember the last time I panned a blush. Like, it's been ages for real, especially a cream blush. So yesterday I went to Target and I went to the Ulta that's embedded in the Target and I picked up a new lip product because I can't help myself because I am who I am. This is from Tarte. It's the Maracuja Juicy Lip Vinyl. Have you guys seen this? This is in the color Sheer Lotus. So let me show you this. It's an oil-based lip shine and you click it, you put a little product up and apply it. It's lovely. It's a lip oil, which I don't always love. I have some other lip oils. In fact, I have them right here. I have two that I do like and do wear. I also have Merit's shade Slick in Pink Beet, which is a good color and a good product. It kind of comes out with a doe foot like this. Really pretty color. So I like that one. I wear that one a lot. I keep it in my work bag because it's, you know, easy to put on without a mirror and it's nice and hydrating. I also have from Clarins, I have their Lip Comfort Oil in the color Strawberry. This one also has a doe foot, which I love. It's got a big fat doe foot, kind of feels good to put on, but I don't love the oil as much as I like the Merit one. And so far, I think I really like this Tarte one. The issue sometimes with these is how much pigment is in them and the way they settle within the oil on your lips. But I do think it feels really good and I'm excited to have lip oils for the winter, something that really helps keep it together. I'm gonna do a little bit of eye makeup. The other thing about this invisibility conversation is that I was gonna break out this little mini palette I made out of shades in Biba and Camel, and look what happened. I just lost this shade. Dang it, it's on my floor. Ugh, I'm gonna deal with that after I'm done filming. I'm gonna just keep it rolling. The thing about visibility, when I was really thinking about it, I wasn't fully thinking about romantic attention. Romantic seems like such a funny word, especially considering the way this guy was talking about me on the street. It wasn't very romantic. But like, I wasn't necessarily even thinking about that, although of course, that's an important detail. I think for me, I was just thinking more about like, do people think you're relevant? If you are involved in a group, you know, that maybe has, you know, mixed age demographic or, you know, just different types of people, is there a point at which when you're older, you're not even relevant, where your opinion and your experience is just sort of like tolerated while they kind of wait for someone else who's more relevant to share their point of view? Or is it valued? You know, I think maybe is that visibility or is that something else? I'm not totally sure, but that was sort of what I was thinking about. Like, do you even register as someone worth considering and listening to past a certain point? That was sort of what I was wondering about with my mom. Like, I remember there was this moment when my mom was discharged from the hospital to go to a skilled nursing facility after her surgery, which we thought was going to be okay, but it wasn't okay. The head nurse, you know, I was trying to convey to her what the circumstances were, and she was asking me, like, she wanted to know if my mom could sign a piece of paper, and she asked me, but my mom had been communicating with her in a way that was extremely cogent, very informed, like obvious that she's in her right mind. Maybe that's just me being defensive of my mom. Maybe it's a normal thing to ask, but it felt so insulting. It's like my mom is sitting right there. She's telling you what it is that she needs, and you're looking at me asking if she's competent enough to sign a piece of paper. I get it, you know, but also like, dang, it hit me the wrong way. It just hit me the wrong way and stuck with me and bothered me for a while. Like, what? At what point are you just looked right past, you know, your loved one is asked, you know, to speak for you? I guess on some level, that's just kind of how it goes in the end, but I hated it. I just hated it. It bothered me so badly. I'm going to use Lisa Eldridge's eye pencil in the color Renaissance Gold, which I love. I'm really working my way through this one. In that moment, I felt like my mother seemed invisible to the head nurse at that place. And that, I think, was the most upsetting part of the process, was watching that happen to my mom. Oh no! Oh, you guys, that eyeshadow, I was trying to find where it went. It went inside, oh my God, it went inside my box of makeup. Do you see it? It's like, I'm making it worse. Oh my God, this is a whole mess. It's a whole mess, you guys. I'm gonna use Clinique's High Impact Mascara in Black Brown, always a favorite. Another sort of like frequently commented sentiment in that video was that people kind of enjoy being less visible because they can, you know, do whatever they want. No one says anything. It's like the pressure's off a little bit, which I totally understand and somewhat can relate to. One of the things I've always really liked about living in a big city is that I can kind of move about and see about my business without a lot of interaction, you know, beyond like professional, you know, normal, I think, transactional conversation. I do feel a little bit more anonymous, which I like. That's just a setting of mine. I know not everybody's like that. When I went to college, when I was young, my first college I went to was an all-girls college in Minnesota. It's called the College of St. Benedict. I went to an all-girls, all-women's college that was in the middle of central Minnesota, small. It was a convent, you know, we were university students, but it was within a convent context. And a lot of people liked that. They would say it's great because they felt seen and known. They could get direct access to their professors and really know their classmates and feel like they were part of a community. And I remember when I got there, I felt so instantly suffocated. I didn't know how to fit into such a small community. The university was actually smaller, or my class within the university was smaller than my high school class. I had gone to like a large suburban high school and was used to having my friend group and being immersed within like the theater dorks and the orchestra kids and sort of the nerds. That was sort of my crew, but I didn't know everybody in the high school. It was too big and that just wasn't possible really. And when I got to this college, I felt like just like I was sticking out like a sore thumb, and it was hard for me and I didn't adjust. Halfway through the year, I transferred to a Big Ten university. I ended up going to college at the University of Wisconsin at Madison, which is like a huge, giant Big Ten school. And I loved it. I loved it from day one. I found a really great group of friends that I'm still friends with. And found the activities I wanted to be in, but otherwise could move about the campus and just handle my business and graduate. And I didn't really lean on the advisors, or I didn't really want to go to have dinner at my professor's house. You know what I mean? I just was like kind of just going about my business and getting my degree. And that was my comfort zone. And I felt very comfortable in large cities. You know, I studied abroad in London. I lived in San Francisco. I love how it feels when I'm in New York and just one of millions. I love how that feels. So part of that might also be just like a desire for feeling somewhat invisible in those circumstances. That type of thing is comfortable for me. I think what concerns me is that I would hate feeling invisible within a direct interaction, like what I observed at the hospital. That is different. That feels so scary and lonely to me, way more than sort of like disappearing into a crowd, which is very comfortable for me. Anyway, we're gonna keep this conversation going because I feel like I'm still working out how I feel about it, and I'm very open to continuing to hear your comments, getting the conversation rolling. I'm gonna finish up here with a little perfume. This is Papier from Diptyque. I picked this up. I don't always talk about perfume on this channel, but I'm a bit of a perfume addict. This is a lovely, like, fleeting scent. It doesn't last for too long. Kind of a unisex musky scent. It kind of smells like a fresh ream of paper. It sort of has a dry, warm, maybe ever so slightly creamy sort of scent. It's wonderful, clean, calm, totally appropriate, not overpowering, definitely unisex. So I thought that might be appropriate to go over to a lady's house to take my first of, I'm sure, many bridge lessons. And I am so glad to have been able to sit down here with you and just check in a little bit about the conversation that we've got rolling. If you didn't check that video out, please do. I posted it last week. And let me know your thoughts on visibility versus invisibility as it relates to the intersection of many different forms of isms that are like bad isms. Definitely want to hear your thoughts as always. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like. That helps my channel so much. And if you want to hang out again, please subscribe. I post videos on Sundays. This is a relaxed and super supportive, really great community. So I'd love to have you be a part of it. Anyway, I hope that you're all doing well out there, and I hope that you have a great week ahead. Thank you so much for watching. Talk soon.